So Matt Brown, the publisher of Extra Points, which is a sports newsletter, he just recently tweeted out several leaks, basically you could call them, of data and assets, audio assets, and different information related to EA Sports College Football. If you hadn't heard his name before, he's literally basically the number one source for anything EA Sports College Football related at this point. He files open record requests and then gets information that schools have sent to EA to be put into the game. So like I said, he tweeted a bunch of different things yesterday about EA Sports College Football. Mostly were pictures of spreadsheets that he has information about different schools, about audio and visual assets that they have sent to EA to be put into EA Sports College Football. Oh, I also just wanted to put a disclaimer in here. The gameplay you're watching might be slightly laggy. Lately, my CFB Revamped has not been working well ever since I updated my PS3 emulator. So I don't know exactly what's going on with that. I'm trying to get it fixed. But yeah, I guess you'll just have to watch some laggy gameplay for this video. So let's get into it. The first thing that Matt Brown tweeted yesterday related to the game was this right here. So he tweeted, in case you were wondering, here are the 3 helmets Colorado submitted to EA Sports as potential assets for EA Sports College Football. So potentially these are going to be the 3 helmets we have, at least at launch of the game, for Colorado football. So you can see the variants right there. He says they also submitted drone footage, hundreds of other photos of fans, the mountains, and basically every possible angle of the stadium, which obviously this all makes sense. But I love just being able to visualize and actually see some sort of content here. So we got 3 different helmets, and then he said a bunch of other footages, photos, other footage of the mountains, the stadium, and other things like that. He then replied to that tweet and said, here are a few of those photos. So this is awesome because, again, it gives us a great visualization of what we might see in the game. So in the top left picture, it looks like the tunnel to the field. So maybe like when you start a game, you'll see them running through the tunnel. That would be sick. To the right of that, we see a statue that's probably, I'm assuming, outside the stadium. I've never actually been to Colorado's field, so I wouldn't know, but I'm assuming that's outside the stadium or at least somewhere on campus. And then in the bottom right, I love that picture. It shows an old lady who's a fan, clearly, of Colorado. One of my favorite things from the past college football games is where they show the fans in the stadium, like during a cutscene, like in between plays or quarters or whatever, and they're cheering. So hopefully they'll bring back that feature. And then lastly, in the bottom left, we have a building from the Colorado campus. And I was able to actually find that building on Google. It's called the Old Main Building. And I assumed originally that it was just going to be right beside the stadium, but it's actually not. It's a little bit away from the stadium. So that made me kind of wonder, like, why would EA need that building? And so I'm hoping maybe how, like we had in the old NCAA football, like in 07, I think you could actually see your dorm room on Road to Glory. So who knows, maybe they're bringing back something like that, or maybe it's just going to have like a flyover of the campus, and so they were trying to get a closer up of that building. Who knows? And I don't even know if EA specifically requested that building or anything like that. Colorado might have just sent in a bunch of different pictures of campus, but I just found that interesting that building was included despite it not really being anything to do with the stadium. Matt Brown then tweeted a thread of, like I said earlier, it looks like spreadsheets of audio and visual assets submitted by different schools. So I'm going to show that here. There's several of them. I'm not going to show all of them. Definitely go check them out for yourselves. There's several teams he posts on there, but I'm going to highlight a few just that I find interesting, or some of the bigger schools. So first you can see the Ohio State information. So you can see the band songs, the band song notes, the band song audio file if they provided it. And there's just a bunch of different information like these for different teams, and I find it super interesting. So for example, you can see here that it says Hang On Sloopy. I don't know what song that is, but I guess it's played by the band, and it's going to be played in between the 3rd and 4th quarter. And it's just the little things like that that makes college football so great, that the bands play a certain song at a certain time in between quarters or after a first down, or they get a 4th down stop. You know, different things like that make or break the atmospheres for college football. So here's Temple's assets, and you can see there on the right, they provided a lot of band song audio files. I just love seeing, especially some of these smaller schools, really getting into it and giving them a lot of different audio files that they can put into the game. So even these small schools, that when you play at their stadium, it still feels super unique. So like I said, go check these out for yourself. I'm going to highlight just a couple more because they're super interesting. Right here, you can see Rutgers. And I just love the detail they put into this. So it says, where it says train horn, it says the train horn is part of the sounds of the stadium as much as the lion roar would be at Penn State. So they're trying to compare it to Penn State of how, identifiable the lion roar is. And it says it is played on big third downs, after big sacks or interceptions, and after we score touchdowns or field goals. So I'm not a Rutgers fan, but every Rutgers fan probably knows that. When they watch a game, they expect to hear the train horn. So something like that needs to be in the game. And I love that Rutgers is providing that and then even giving them those details about it, saying why it needs to be in the game. So the last one I'm going to highlight here is Iowa State. So Iowa State also provided a lot of information. Hopefully you can read this, but you can see there it says Juicy Wiggle, and it says huge fan favorite. This is typically played just once during the game for a very exciting touchdown and works best if there's a full timeout following the PAT, blah, 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 blah. But just so much detail and information there that I love that they're providing. And so hopefully EA takes that and only plays that once a game, right? Because they want it to be authentic. If they only play it once a game in real life, they should only play it once a game in the video game. So that's going to be all the teams I highlight on here. There's several of them. Go check them out yourself at Matt Brown's Twitter account. I love seeing all those details and the passion from the schools providing that to EA and giving all those little minor details about these assets. That way EA can do their best to represent what happens in real life in the video game. And I think it was those small things that really made NCAA football such a good video game series. So shout out to Matt Brown. Like I said, he's been like the #1 source for anything related to the game. Definitely go check out his stuff. And hopefully we'll start hearing more soon about the game.